Yeah.
You know what else I found funny? It was funny seeing him and Jennifer Lewis in the same movie, but like not be the Gramps and Grandma from Blackish.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it's so weird because they're like more or less the same age. Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Dell.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
Alright, so today was What's Love Got to Do with It?
Yes, it was. So, as always, IMDb. The story of singer Tina Turner's rise to stardom and how she gained the courage to break free from her abusive husband, Ike Turner.
Okay. So, as usual, starting off with things we liked about this one.
Yes.
I guess I could kick this one off.
Yeah, go
Angela
ahead.
Bassett, Lawrence Fishburne, like, amazing in this one.
They
Just
were
like
so
the
good.
range of emotion. You saw like the anger, you saw the pain, you saw like tears from both of them.
Yeah.
Just
It
very,
was
very
so
good on
good.
screen, and like a lot of on-screen chemistry too. Even though like I guess the actual relationship they portrayed wasn't, I guess, healthy, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they like the two actors just did great of like showing that on screen and making it
Yeah.
very believable.
Yeah, I second that completely. Like, even Angela Bassett's, like, I don't know as much about Ike Turner as I do about Tina Turner, and even then I don't know a lot. But just, like, after seeing the movie and seeing the little, like, snippet of Tina Turner in concert, you could tell that Angela Bassett, like, really did her homework, and she really, like, got a lot of the physicality and the dance moves and, like, the shoulder moving. Also,
Yeah.
side note, Angela Bassett's arms went crazy. I was like,
Definitely.
can she
definitely.
bench press me?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I
I
was
could tell
like,
she was
wow.
putting in work.
She put in the
Definitely.
work there, but like, oh, so good. Kind of similar to the chemistry thing that you said. I said that this movie did a good job of showing how volatile Ike was in the beginning. How from an outside perspective, you definitely see the signs that, oh, this relationship's not going to be good. Like, even if you know nothing about Ike and Tina Turner, you're like, you see Ike and you're like, this guy's not so great. But you can also kind of see from an inside perspective, Tina and how she's thinking, oh, we're just in like this really passionate relationship. I'm just with this passionate man. Like, you can kind of see he did a good job of, I guess, showing the nuances that go into being an abusive person. And like, I don't even know if nuance is the right word. Yeah. But like, you can kind of see like those little bits of him that were like, and like, I knew he wasn't shit. Like, as soon as they like stole her from the hospital after she had a baby, I was like,
Yeah.
what the shit? And he was like, yeah, I want you. And then he like, she was like giving all these reasons to like, you should put me back in the hospital. I don't care about the concert or whatever. Then he goes, marry me. And then it kind of like changes and it's like, oh, you can kind of see where she just thinks this is just like an impulsive, crazy, passionate man that she's with, not like an abusive dickhole. You can like see those little bits. And I thought they did a great job of like planting the seeds to like show his abusiveness ramping up instead of it just being
Yeah.
like, and he's awful, or like, yeah, they did a good job of that.
Yeah, no, that was actually like the exact same point I had. I like how like they kind of like again slowly kind of give you those little like tidbits of his crazy, and then it like
Yeah.
slowly it pretty much escalates the whole movie, you know, to the point.
Yeah,
like, you get to,
especially
like,
once he
those, like,
starts doing
climax
drugs
scenes.
too.
Yeah, yep. But I guess the specific example I had for that one, I guess one example to add to that was when he first gives her the stage name, Tina Turner, and she like didn't even know. I thought that was like kind of one of those like hints of like, oh, maybe this guy has some control problem kind of thing. you know?
Yeah.
So I really like how they did that as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess the music in this one.
Yeah.
I honestly wasn't too familiar with their music.
I was kind
I've of course
familiar.
heard like the title song, "What's Love Got to Do with It." I've heard that song, but aside from that, like I hadn't heard too much. But I thought this movie did a really good job of just like introducing us to their music while still
Yeah.
giving us like the story of them. You know, I think sometimes these kind of movies can either lean too heavily into one or the other. You know, where we feel like we don't get that kind of complete picture. But I thought this one did a really good job of like mixing the music with kind of the drama of their relationship and having those kind
Yeah.
of passionate performances of her like crying on stage but still getting through it
Oh
so, like,
yeah, that was a
powerfully,
good
you know?
one. I'm trying to think of what exact performance it was, but it was like, I think it was after her hair got fucked up, maybe. Was it that one that I'm thinking of? Where where she doesn't want to go. No. It's the one after she has the baby. And she's like, I want to stay inside or whatever. And then he like comes in and like kisses her on the cheek, and to the crowd, it's like, oh, they're so in love. That's so sweet. He's like helping her on. But then like we're inside of it and we're like, oh, that's manipulation, mama. Not good.
Yep.
Another specific scene that I'm gonna say liked, even though that's not the correct word for it. But it was the scene where, because this movie had so many like awful things happening to Tina, it's hard to say I loved that. It's like, but I think that they did a good job on the assault scene when he assaulted her in the recording studio, where he was like having her sing Nutbush City Limits. Great song. But he was having her sing that, and he was like, oh no, you're doing it wrong. And I was like, this sounds fucking perfect to me, but whatever. Yeah. Then everyone leaves and he like assaults her. I just thought they did a good job of kind of like making her, this is going to sound weird, but making her be the fish. Seem the fish, almost where it's like she's kind of like in this glass bubble and her life isn't what she wants it to be and it's not her own and she doesn't really have control and she kind of just like goes dead-eyed and glassy. And you like see the fish swimming by and it's like, it's like she's the fish. I just thought they did a good job with that. I'm not going to say I liked that scene because like I don't like assault of any form. But like I just thought they did a really good job with that. It was wonderfully handled, I guess, is what I'll say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. And again, like I thought it was like a very cinematic shot. And again, like the scenes that led up to it, also with, taking into context like the earlier scenes in the film, like when she first goes to sing with him and he's like, oh, sing it with more, I forget the word he used, like it wasn't aggression, or he said sing it with more something, like
I can't even remember the word either.
I don't remember what that word was, but it was kind of like almost like similar, but now we're further in the movie and we know he's more intense, you know, and so I did like that as well.
I did like the parallels they drew from that when she was very first scene of her like in church and like doing a whole like her like riffs and everything where they're singing This Little Light of Mine or something like that. And the choir director's like, sing it how I wrote it. And it kind of just like Ike mirroring those same sentiments. I thought that was a very nice little touch. Yeah. Especially because that scene in the beginning seems so like, what is even happening? Like, is this going to play in? And then it does, and it's like, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. I thought that scene was really funny, too. This movie had, like, a surprising amount of humor in it. Like, I didn't expect a lot of humor in this one, but there were like, definitely some good laughs in this one. But, I think those were all the specific things I had.
Last thing I had was I just like the scene in the hotel. It's like one of the last scenes where she's just saying what kind of music she wants to sing. And she's like, Ike was all R&B. I want to be like rock. And I just thought that it was a nice like show of her kind of like finally coming into her own and like experiencing her own power. I just thought that was a good scene.
Yeah.
That was the last one that I had though.
Okay. Want to get into negatives?
Yes.
All right. Guess you want to kick it off or?
Yeah. The first thing I had was, this is kind of like a smaller one, and I guess I can get into the bigger ones later, but this was the first thing I wrote, was that the way her friend said, I'm a Buddhist now, just sounded so ridiculous to me, and it kind of took me out of the emotional weight of her finally going to a friend for help. Because before they were kind of like joking about how like really abusive and like controlling Ike is, and they were like, oh yeah, Tina, I want to do da-da-da. They were doing that thing where like girlfriends shit on each other's like significant others, and then it started to get too real, and then Tina's like crying, and it's like she's trying to get help, and then her friend's like, yeah, and I'm a Buddhist now, and I'm like, huh? Yeah. Like the way she said it, like that could be exactly how it happened in real life. I don't know. Even though when I was reading the Wikipedia, Tina Turner said they got a lot wrong in this story, but that's neither here nor there. The way that she said that line took me completely out of it, and I was like, this is a joke, right? It sounded so tacked on, so like contrived and weird, and I was like, why? Who did this? Who made this decision?
Yeah. Well, that scene did kind of come out of nowhere in a sense.
Yeah.
You know? But I guess the first thing I had, I kind of would have liked a little more of her interacting with like family and like friends, and also especially like her kids or the kids that were around. I thought they could have just been like explained more, not explained more, but like that's also a very difficult thing to do. Like I don't know if she had like people taking care of the kids or something, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, I would just like to see him like we got like little tastes of it, you know, like her taking the kids and trying to get away from Ike. I think that happened once, maybe twice.
I think I only remember once.
Okay, it might have just been once then. It might have just been once, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think I would have liked a little more on, I guess, the kids or like the family and also like you said, like I think that scene with like the Buddhist thing, that was like kind of the first time we see her like go to friends for help.
Yeah.
I think there could have been a little more of that. Like I do appreciate that this movie was so focused on just like the two of them and you know
Yeah.
slightly more skewed toward Tina's perspective. But
Yeah.
I do wish we kind of got a little more for I guess support system outside of just him. But
Yeah. Although I will say, when you're in an abusive relationship, the first thing to do is to cut off the support system.
Yeah,
So that could be
yeah.
why we didn't see them, but
Yeah.
it still was like very bubbled. I will say. The next thing I have was, I wish the highs in her life were amped up a little bit more, just so that there was more of a contrast between the lows. Because to me, it seemed more like everything was kind of like middle, low, instead of like the high highs. And it just, especially because when you read the Wikipedia on it, it says like, oh, and Tina's like getting like huge amounts of fame and she's like eclipsing Ike. And it's like, you kind of don't see that as much. There were like a couple little nods to it where they were like, Tina Turner, and she was the one like answering interview questions and stuff like that. But they really didn't make the highs seem, I guess, high enough. And I don't know if it had to do with the fact that the relationship was a literal dumpster fire, but it just didn't seem like the highs were high enough for me.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. I don't know if I wanted the highs to be higher because I did kind of get her surpassing him, but
Yeah.
I think that. Wait, I just lost my train of thought there.
Okay.
What was I just gonna say?
The
What about the
highs.
highs? I think like the whole movie gave that whole like she's singing through a lot of pain to
Yeah.
me, and so I think that's kind of why a lot of the highs seem to be like those moments of her on stage singing. And there,
Yeah.
I guess there was even that comment she said, "Oh, you're always on stage," or if you're not on stage, you're getting ready to be on stage. So
Yeah.
like from that perspective, I kind of see why the highs were sort of muted. You know, just
Yeah.
because
I get what
the
you
movie kind of gave that like, "Hey, I'm singing through this pain," and even with the way she sings, you know, you do get a lot of that. I can't remember that word he used in the beginning. It wasn't like sing with more aggression. It was sing with more like. I don't remember what that word was. It was a perfect word. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, I think that kind of like muted down a lot of the highs in this one.
Yeah.
I guess the only other thing I really had, I thought that the time skips could have been a little smoother, maybe. Like there
Yeah.
were some that were done well with like montages and stuff, but others you kind of just skipped large chunks of time without really any idea of what happened in between that. Like especially again
Yeah.
after like the kid was born, I feel like there was a pretty huge time skip, and then they were like old kids.
Yeah. I wrote kind of the same thing because I said it didn't sit in scenes for long enough so I can string them together to like the story beats, I guess, that I wanted. Like I could follow the story of her like in this abusive relationship, but still like getting success, but she's like getting success with her abuser and yada yada yada. But it sometimes seemed like I missed something, even though I like never left the room. And I was like,
Yeah.
how am I missing things? Like I've not left. I'm fully paying attention.
Yep,
I
yep.
think it was those time skips. Like
Yeah.
this, like the montages actually really helped out when they did skip through chunks of time because those montages were super awesome. But like,
All right,
yeah,
I
get what
definitely
you mean.
remember like one or two times where I had to rewind and like because I thought I missed something and then realized oh I didn't actually miss anything. They just kind of like jumped time, you know.
Yeah. That was the last thing I had.
Okay. Are we ready for ratings then?
Yes.
All right. You want to kick it off or?
Yeah, I can kick it off. So I gave this movie a 3.5 out of 5. I thought the acting and the music were gold star, super duper wonderful. I just felt as though it got a little repetitive, and I guess that could be because she's in an abusive relationship, and those by nature are kind of repetitive. And it could be what's true to her story, but it just felt a little repetitive, and we didn't get enough. I'm gonna say it again. We didn't get enough highs, I guess, almost to the point where it felt as though everyone around her was negligent because Ike was like beating her up in diners and like in front of people. Like there was one of the first scenes where he was abusing her. It was like in front of their 3 kids or like her kid and his 2 kids. Like what? It just seemed like everyone was negligent around her, and that again could be true to the story, but it just almost felt like wild in a weird way that I didn't like. I don't know.
Okay.
Relationships are complicated, especially abusive ones. So I can't like be like, you should have done this, but like anyone around her should have done something. Like he beat her in a diner. What?
Yeah.
Man was reckless.
There were definitely times where I was watching. I'm like, none of y'all are like stopping this, or like even because like that first scene where like he beats her in the house, he like drags her throughout the home, and I was like, no one's gonna. Like,
and people are outside. People are outside, and the doors open, and they like hear her screaming, and they're just like, well, this kind of is weird that we're here listening to this. Should we like go home? Like what?
Yeah.
How about call the police? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I definitely got that feeling too. Yeah, I gave this one a 4. I actually like this one a lot, and I think this is also kind of like a category of movie I really like. Like I like those like I don't know psychological movies where you kind of see like someone's mental state kind of go down, and I also really like these biopics of musicians.
Yeah,
that's like I don't know, just a category movie I really like. So yeah, this one I thought it was like a good blend of like the music and still getting their story. You got like those aspects of drama. You got those like more beautiful scenes. Yeah, I just had a pretty good time with this one, and yeah, like I enjoyed it. And again, like I wish I was more familiar with Tina and Ike Turner.
Yeah.
And after watching this movie, I definitely feel motivated to listen to them and at least familiarize myself with them. So I think the movie definitely succeeded in doing that. So I like this one.
All right, final question. Do you wish you saw this sooner?
Yeah, this one I actually put yes.
Ooh.
I like these kind of like artist biopics, musician biopics, and I had a phase like I think early high school, probably late high school actually, where I was just watching a bunch of like these kinds of movies, and this is what I would have liked to add at that time.
Yeah.
Glad I saw it now. Probably wouldn't watch it again, but like I don't know. I kind of wish I saw this one sooner.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm gonna give it a very, very light no, only because I can't think of a reason to need to see it sooner. I think I'm a bit more familiar with at least Ike and Tina Turner's music than you are. I didn't realize that. I guess I knew he was like it was Ike and Tina Turner, but I guess I didn't realize. But when I think of someone and someone, I always think of like duetting, and he's just like the guitar player or whatever. So I don't think I knew that. But
I didn't either.
Yeah. Because I think, like, Ike and Tina Turner, I always think, like, when you hear duo names, I always think, like, Sonny and Cher or something, where they're both, like, singing together. But he's literally just, like, in the background playing music. I guess maybe he wrote some of the stuff, but he was too much of an asshole for me to try to care more. Yeah. But yeah, I think I was definitely more familiar with their music than you were. And I've, like, listened to a lot of their stuff. I just didn't realize it was, like, a duo thing, or they, like, were marketing it as a duo. But yeah, I don't feel like a strong need to have seen this sooner, but I don't feel a strong need to have not seen this sooner.
Okay. That was What's Love Got to Do with It.
Yes.
YouTube housekeeping, like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell for notifications. If you have any movie suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments down below. We do movies on Tuesdays and Fridays. All of our socials will be linked in the description box down below, and we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye. You know what I realized? What? You know that Lawrence Fishburne meme where he's like in a full-on like bowl cut and just looks like... I didn't realize that was from this movie.
No, I noticed that too. As soon as I saw him walk out with the bowl cut, I was like, oh!
I saw him in that exact outfit, and I was like, what? This is what this is from? If I end up using this bit, I'm going to put a picture of it here. But my goodness, finding the origin of that meme was like a sweet little like fun surprise.
Yeah. That's why we do this show, so we can find a little stuff.
That's why
like
we do
that, you know?
this, so we can get the references.